Hey, it's Earl Harville here of Earl Harville Music in Earl Vox Studio. A little story time for you. Picture it, Sicily, 1988. Except it's not Sicily, it's Gary, Indiana, and I am a sophomore at Indiana University Northwest. At the time, a nursing major. But I was in the midst of playing in my first band. I was just really starting to write songs seriously. I was kind of discovering my voice. I was only about 4 years into playing keyboards. And I decided to take a class called Rudiments of Music, which is kind of an intro to music theory class, when I was there at Indiana University Northwest. And I met a gentleman by the name of Dwight Davis. He was the professor of that class. And this story is about Dwight Davis and how he impacted me in such a huge way, and partly where I am now is because of him. So, fall 1988, I decided to enroll in that Rudiments of Music class because I had never taken a formal music theory course before that. It was a nice sized class. It wasn't a tiny class. And, you know, he looked a little intimidating when he first walks in the room. He kind of would have this kind of straight face on, but you discovered that he was really a really kind-hearted, very dedicated to helping people learn about music, spreading his love of music to those who were under his tutelage. So took that class, really had a ball in it, and got an A. So that led me to the next semester going ahead and enrolling in freshman music theory, written materials, and sight singing ear training. And that was a really small class. It was only maybe nine of us in that class. And I tell you, I was just on fire for learning all this stuff. Because in my heart, I knew I wanted to do music. I just didn't know if I had the tools to do it yet. And it was during that time that I was in Dwight Davis's class that I think he kind of got an idea of what was going on with me, and that he could see that there was something there that was worth pursuing. I was in that class with a gentleman by the name of Mark Spencer. A very talented actor and musician and singer, and we were buddies in that class. And I remember one day in particular, we had to stay behind to talk to Mr. Davis about something, and Mr. Davis said to me, he goes, "And why aren't you in my vocal performance ensemble?" I'm like, huh? At the time, I was studying piano with a wonderful woman named Barbara Cunningham, which I'll do another video about her. And so I was really focusing a lot on developing as a piano player, even though I did consider myself a singer. Didn't know if I was a great singer yet, you know, but I wanted to do it, whatever. So he said, "Yeah, I hear that voice in the back of my room." And I'm like, how can you tell if I can sing just from what we're doing in this sight singing class? He goes, "I know what I'm talking about. You're a singer, because you should be in my vocal performance ensemble." So I ended up in his vocal performance ensemble, I think the next fall. I was the only guy in the class, so what he did, he had me to, he's like, "I don't know if I can find the music for all these girls and one guy. So what I'm happy to do is you're going to be a soloist in this class performance, and you're going to be the MC." And I did just that. So I had a discussion with him one day about, okay, I'm thinking about changing my major. And at the time, I thought I was going to do my undergrad in music education. Roosevelt University's Chicago Musical College, to be specific. And then, and around this time, I think I had decided to audit the theory class again, just to make sure I really had my handle on everything. And he said, "You know, Roosevelt University's music program is fantastic." He goes, "But I don't think you're necessarily trying to hit for a classical career." he said to me, I suggest that you look into either Columbia College Chicago or the Berklee College of Music. Now, I had never heard of Columbia College Chicago before, but I knew about Berklee. I knew that's where Quincy Jones had gone. And I'm thinking, me? Berklee? Seriously? He goes, yeah, I really think you ought to do that. So I decided I was going to go ahead and apply to Berklee College of Music, you know, thinking it's a long shot. And lo and behold, I got in as a piano major. For those who don't know that, I got into Berklee as a piano major before I switched over to voice. But I couldn't go because it was too doggone expensive. But one of the things he did do that summer, before I thought I was going to leave for Boston to go to Berklee, he gave me free theory and sight singing ear training lessons that summer for free. He wanted to make sure that if I was going to go to this school, that I was really, really, really prepared, that I felt very, very confident going in that I could handle the study. I ended up leaving IU in, I changed my major officially. I ended up actually getting an associate's degree in communications with a music concentration. A lot of folks don't know that. And then I eventually landed at Columbia College Chicago, where I got my Bachelor of Arts in Music and Vocal Performance. But part of the reason that I'm here now is because of the way that he sewed into me. He passed away somewhere in the mid to late 90s, but I've never forgotten him. And I've always been intentional about paying back with my students what he gave to me. Because without him, I don't know if I would have gotten to this place. So I kind of dedicate my teaching and my creating, you know, being a singer and a keyboard player and a songwriter and all that. I really do kind of honor him by doing what I do and try to do it with excellence. So, yeah, that's part of my story of how I ended up as a musician and a music educator and a performer and all that kind of stuff like that. There are a number of people who played into that, but one of those really, 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 really important people was the guy who thought that I had enough that I could actually do this thing, Mr. Dwight Davis. Story time is over. Bye.